Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So the markets are doing great. We got the Dow above 34,000 right now. Uh, you know, it's fluctuating a little bit the last few days, but nothing too crazy, nothing even close to what we saw a little over a year ago at the sort of height of the pandemic concerns when the Dow was moving 1,000 points in the matter of just a few hours. I hope to never see that kind of volatility ever again, but who knows? Every time that we think we've seen everything that we could ever possibly see, the world surprises us and throws us something that is maybe even worse than what we thought the worst case scenario was. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today, what I want to talk about is, this sort of undercurrent that I'm hearing about concerns about the US economy and what the rest of the year might look like. So if you look at GDP up, the latest report, which is for the end of the first quarter, what you see is that the GDP in the United States has almost gotten back up to its height pre-pandemic. So economic activity is happening, and then you have to ask yourself, well, how is that possible? And a big chunk of it has to do with government stimulus. There's no doubt. I mean, the federal government is injecting trillions of dollars into the US economy to sort of shore it up. So then the next question comes, well, what's going to happen when that government stimulus isn't continued? And when might that all stop? Or when might we transition from an economy that's being supported by the government to an economy that's being supported by business? And so the kinds of things we're looking at are like one indicator I'm going to point to here. It's new building permits, and new building permits continue to rise. And if you think about what that means, is that builders are actually in advance of the pandemic fully ending. They're getting permits to build new properties, which means that new jobs will be created, which means they're anticipating that there will be buyers for those homes. And now, whenever I say that, again, I get a lot of people who comment, hey, interest rates are rising. It's going to get to the point where people can't afford a house because interest rates are rising. And I just think that that's a really funny perspective because, yeah, interest rates might be rising. I mean, the 10-year Treasury in the last, 3-4 months has gone from like 1% to as high as 1.7. I think it even got into the 1.8s. But really, 1 to 1.8 on a 10-year Treasury, that kind of an interest rate move as a percentage looks monumental. But in absolute terms, 0.8%. I mean, if you look at the history of 30-year mortgage interest rates, what you see is that interest rates are just as low as they've ever possibly been. And if you can't afford a home with interest rates where they are right now, you really can't afford a home. So I'm not overly concerned or even a little bit concerned about the fact that interest rates are rising. To the contrary, I would actually like to see them go up because there's an entire generation of savers who have tried to retire based upon what they've accumulated over their lifetime, and they expected that they'd be able to get a CD that would pay them 3 or 4%, and they haven't seen that in 10 years. So there is a flip side to keeping interest rates low, but they're still likely to remain low for quite a long time as the Federal Reserve tries to do what they can to increase economic activity. And even before the pandemic, the Fed had said that it was going to keep interest rates low for a couple of years. So we're not at all concerned about interest rates rising over the next couple of years, at least not measurably. And that will be, again, helpful to a pandemic recovery that we anticipate continuing to accelerate through the balance of the year. Because again, the stimulus from the federal government is going to end, and as you can see by this graphic of the United States, more and more jurisdictions are decreasing the number of restrictions that they have on, businesses opening, mask mandates, all that kind of stuff. And so we are rapidly heading towards the time, especially with 200 million people in the United States that have received at least one vaccination. We are rapidly approaching the point where there will no longer be, broad restrictions, and economic activity can return to normal naturally, as opposed to economic activity being driven by, government stimulus. So, if you're thinking about, well, what does the rest of the year look like? Just again, start looking at forward-looking indicators. Look at, housing starts, building permits. Those are all, really good indicators of what other people are thinking about the rest of the year looking like. So if you have any questions about this or any other financial matter, please send me a message, text me, email me, make a post to this video. I'm happy to respond in any way. I answer all questions as quickly as possible. So that was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back again soon with another Uncommon Sense update. Thanks for watching.
If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.